Everyone please rise for the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, Republic for which God, indivisible.
Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mayor. Board of Commissioners Public Meeting, Tuesday, October 21st, 2014. Pursuant to the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Law, Chapter 231, notice of this meeting was published in the December 12, 2013 issues of the Nutley Sun, the Star Ledger, and the Herald News. A copy of this notice has been posted in the Nutley Town Hall Bulletin Board, and a copy is on file in the Municipal Clerk's Office. Commissioner Rogers? Here. Commissioner Tucci?
Here.
Commissioner Scarpelli? Mayor Petracco?
Here.
All present, Mayor, except for Commissioner Evans, absent excused this evening.
Thank you. We'll move on to minutes, please.
Yes, Mayor, we have emergency meeting minutes for 2012.
Okay, we need a
June
motion.
26, 2012. I need a motion.
Move it.
Do them together,
All
yes.
together?
Move the minutes.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Excuse me, Madam Clerk, were they for the minutes for all of 2012?
They are emergency minutes for all of, yes, 2012.
Then I need to correct my vote. I need to abstain on October 28th of 2012. I was absent excused.
Thank you, Commissioner. We also have September 16, 2014 minutes. I need a motion, please.
Moved.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye. Thank you. We'll move on to communications and correspondence, please.
Yes, we have this evening, the Friends of Nutley Singers are requesting permission to hold a Sunday raffle on March 8th, 2015. Need a motion?
Moved. Second.
Commissioner Rogers? Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
We also have Holy Family Church requesting permission to hold a Sunday raffle on December 7th, 2014.
Move it.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye. Okay, and we have one report.
Yes, I have a report for the Shade Tree Department for August of 2014, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to bills, please.
Yes, Mayor. Public Affairs, $187,754.67. Revenue and Finance, $2,417,437.62. Public Safety, $446,253.95. Public Works, $411,555.69. Parks and Public Property, $55,725.00. Total payroll is $769,748.10, for a grand total of $4,288,475.03.
Move the bills.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye. Thank you. Before we start our business portion of the meeting, I would just like to commend the Board of Commissioners for tonight is actually a historic night where we're going to televise our meetings finally. With that being said, thank you. With that being said, I would like to give a special thanks to Commissioner Tucci for making this happen with all your hard work and your departments and the IT guys. So I know you have a few comments. Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. And I'd like to thank all the commissioners, all right, because this was something that everyone signed on to as soon as we brought it up, and it was long overdue, and this will afford our folks who are not able to attend our meetings to be informed about the issues facing the township and the business that we're conducting here. There's a few thank yous, and I'll be brief, that I absolutely need to make this evening. The first is Mr. Jim Kelly, who facilitated the installation of the equipment and the coordination of the broadcasting of these meetings, all right, in addition to securing high school students to produce and operate the cameras. Our student operators this evening, who are in the back operating the controls, are Dante Intindola and Dante Vacaturo, and absent this evening, but who will be with us at future meetings, is Jack Van Chioik. All right. I'd also like to thank my staff at the Parks Department, Frank DeMeo, who's in the back, Harry Kirk, and a fellow who really pushed and was really helpful right from the beginning, Phil White, who's always here at all of our meetings. This evening, we're going to be filming, all right, and pending a quality review by Mr. Kelly, this meeting will be broadcast from Wednesday, October 22nd, all right, to Sunday, October 26th at 9 p.m. on Optimum Channel 77 and Verizon Channel 42. We have a protocol that we're going to be following this evening, and I'd just like to briefly go over this. First of all, every speaker will be afforded 5 minutes to make a statement or ask a question. The second item is mutual respect will be afforded to both speakers and commissioners alike. Contentious behavior or personal attacks will result in termination of speaker's time, which will be determined by the mayor. And lastly, grandstanding will not be tolerated by either the commissioners or the public, as the purpose of broadcasting these meetings is to afford those unable to attend the opportunity to stay informed as to township business. So if we all respect each other and we respect these 4 golden rules, I'm sure we're embarking on something that's not only historic, but something that's going to keep all of our townspeople informed. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Well said. Okay, we have no ordinance introductions. We don't have any public hearings tonight. We have a proclamation. Commissioner Rogers.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have another bit of history happening this evening. It was 125 years ago that the First Baptist Church of Nutley was founded here. Some of the elders of that church, the pastor and members, are here tonight, and I'm going to read this proclamation on behalf of this entire governing body. But also, I feel safe to say that I could read this proclamation on behalf of every governing body from this point going back to 125 years, because I know that the founding fathers of this town and those who have come way before we were here would be thrilled to honor the First Baptist Church. The Board of Commissioners of the Township of Nutley hereby issue this proclamation. Whereas the First Baptist Church of Nutley, New Jersey was formed in 1889 by a group of residents who met at the home of Mr. William and Nanny Robinson on Chestnut Street, services were conducted in the home for approximately 1 year, after which they moved to a room in the Nutley Town Hall due to an increase in membership and continued worshiping there for the next 2 years. And whereas the rising Mount Zion Baptist Church was founded on Passaic Avenue, where services were held until 1907, after which it moved to its present location to 1315 Harrison Street, and whereas Reverend Fillmore Smith became the first pastor at the Harrison Street location, but was replaced by Reverend W.M. Fitzgerald due to illness, Reverend Fitzgerald remained pastor for 8 years until 1915. And whereas Reverend Fitzgerald was succeeded by Reverend R.M. Johnson, who passed away the following year, Reverend Martin became the successor of Reverend Johnson. In 1926, Reverend Normal Royal Ulfin, Sr., became the pastor, and he led the church of 8 years. And whereas in 1936, Reverend George B. Riley of Patterson became pastor, and under his pastorate reorganized the church, officially changing the name from Rising Mount Zion Baptist Church to the First Baptist Church of Nutley. Reverend Riley served as pastor until his death in 1949. And whereas Reverend Joseph J. Napier succeeded Reverend Riley as pastor, serving from May 1950 to 1959, and whereas the First Baptist Church elected Reverend Lawrence Roberts on July 24, 1960, where he pastored until his retirement in 1995, And whereas under the pastorate of Reverend Roberts, the congregation grew tremendously, as did the angelic choir, which traveled extensively throughout the United States and abroad. And whereas Reverend Charles Jeffrey Hayes succeeded Reverend Roberts as pastor in 1996 until 1999, and whereas Reverend Robert E. Coles was elected as the pastor of the First Baptist Church in 1999 and served for 4 years, and whereas in September 2005, Reverend Eddie Spencer IV was called to serve and led the congregation, which grew spiritually and physically under his pastorate, he reinstituted the midweek Bible study and involved the church in a community project known as Angel Food Network, which provides food for families at low cost. Reverend Spencer relocated to North Carolina in 2010, and whereas Reverend Brian Z. Evans, the current pastor of the First Baptist Church of Nutley, New Jersey, was elected to lead the congregation on November 11, 2010, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of the Township of Nutley, and in joining the entire community of Nutley in celebrating the 125th anniversary of the First Baptist Church of Nutley, New Jersey, and wish, and I must emphasize sincerely wish, the entire congregation and clergy Godspeed, continued success, and all those who have been touched by this house of worship, so moved.
Second. Oh, it's a proclamation. Would you like them to come up?
Yes, would you all come up and we'll take a picture? Thank you.
Person with
Okay.
Good evening, Pastor. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for the invitation and the acknowledgement. First, before I say thank you to you, I have to give all praises to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who is first and foremost. I am humbled that there is recognition be honest, 125 years ago, we probably wouldn't be considered as important, not because of you, but because of the ways of society then. But now, and here we are, 125 years later, representing and loving not just ourselves, but a community. It is very important that we all acknowledge our God who has been so good and so gracious to us through all of these years. But even now, we are grateful for those of you who stand in leadership within the community for taking the time out to recognize us, to recognizing the church, and continuously doing what you're doing to uphold the community. We, the First Baptist Church of Nutley, are very appreciative, not only to God, but for you all for allowing us the opportunity to come out, for being recognized and for being noticed for the works that we are doing. And because of this, my words are to you, thank you, and the best is yet to come to Nutley, New Jersey. God bless you all, and thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yep. Thank you. If you guys want to take a minute, if you'd like to stay for the meeting, or if you'd like to take a minute to exit, you're more than welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, we'll move on to resolutions. Commissioner Rogers?
Well, I tell you, just one though. I love this town. I mean, the things we do here. What a remarkable bunch of colleagues I have here. Really good guys. Really good. Okay, the resolution number 25114 is a resolution that will promote and heighten the awareness of Alzheimer's. Now, one of the things that we're doing in the Department of Health is we're going to be getting bracelets that residents will be able to use to put on the relatives who are suffering from Alzheimer's disease. We have found, for example, that some of the residents who are younger, who have elderly parents, don't have the money and don't have the means or know how to deal with this. So we're going to be heightening the awareness of Alzheimer's. We're going to be holding some workshops and having one-on-one counseling sessions with some of the families that are afflicted by this disease. So I introduced this resolution, and I'm going to read the last part of it. I'm introducing it as is listed, but I'm going to simply say that this is Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month for the month of November, and be it further proclaimed that we recognize individuals, families, friends, and caregivers dealing with the devastating effects of Alzheimer's disease, the researchers who are seeking a cause or causes and cure, and the educational programs and support services provided by local and national Alzheimer's organizations. So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Resolution 25014, similar to Alzheimer's, this deals with diabetes. I'm learning that there are a lot of children, a lot of teenagers who are suffering from this disease, and we're going to be heightening awareness in the month of November of this disease, and we will be assisting any resident who needs that assistance. Now, as listed, I'm introducing it. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the Township of Nutley, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, declare November as National Diabetes Awareness Month and recognize November 14th as World Diabetes Day, Healthy Living and Diabetes, and the World Diabetes Day theme for 2014 to 2016. Be it further resolved that we urge all residents to educate themselves on diabetes and how complications can be prevented or delayed by properly managing blood glucose, blood pressure, and cholesterol level by eating healthy, being physically active, and to quit smoking. So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
You're very welcome.
Oh, I'm sorry, the other resolution. There are two resolutions that I'm going to introduce regarding our garbage contract, but I'd like to make a statement and certainly invite my colleagues to speak about this issue. We were able to create a very cost-effective contract. We had a contract that we didn't get an increase in over 5 years. And one could imagine, with the economy the way it's been and the increases in cost of doing business, we had a challenge. We had a real challenge. But because of the collective work that this Board of Commissioners did, and I can't say enough about the work that our town attorney put into this, we were able to bring a very cost-effective garbage collection pickup program that is going to save tax dollars and at the same time maintain the level of service that we have. This is a work in progress. There's going to be a request from us for the residents to have patience. We had a lot of ideas that we're talking about, and I'm going to tell you something. There was one idea the mayor had that I think was really significant. The mayor had this idea, and it comes along the lines, Mayor, with the prevention of crime, that maybe the garbage company could encourage their employees to wear uniforms or to wear some insignia that they are, in fact, sanitation workers. And Council, I believe they've agreed to do that. So, Mayor, I got to tell you, pretty good idea, and they've agreed to do it.
Thank you.
So, you know, there's a biblical proverb that says there's safety in a multitude of counselors, so we got some good counsel here, and that was a good idea. So it's a work in progress, but we're going to need our residents to be very patient with us. There are going to be some, you know, look, there may be a misstep here, a misstep there regarding pickup, but what I want to emphasize is that it's going to save tax dollars the way we did this, and the services are going to be maintained. And one added note, and this is very important. Garbage collection for the Nutley School District is zero. You will hear a shared service tonight that we're going to get into with the Nutley Board of Education. They will pay nothing for their garbage pickup. There are some other things in here that are certainly going to be beneficial to the community. Doesn't go into effect till November 1st. Beginning tomorrow, we're going to get the word out through our local press, through social media, through Facebook, through every imaginable way, we're going to get the word out. So we would just appreciate that the townspeople be patient. I'm not going to ask Commissioner Scarpelli, who, by the way, I'll tell you, this fellow here, he was very, very instrumental in helping us pull this together with the combining of recycling and vegetation and all the complex things that go into this. So, Commissioner, I thank you, and certainly I'll pass it to you, and then we'd like to hear from my colleagues.
Well, Commissioner, I think this is going to maintain our level of service, and as we go forward, that gets more and more difficult to maintain the level of service and try to keep a lid on taxes. Sometimes something has to give, but we were able to maintain the level of service. Some of the reporting that has been a little confusing is that there will be no change in the recycling pickup days. They will remain the same. Going forward, we're going to, again, ask patience in picking up the leaves. That may take us another week or so before we get to that. Beginning of November, the leaves will be picked up by the trash collector. So that's not going to change for the residents. They're going to still put it out at curbside, and someone's going to pick it up. It's just not going to be the Public Works Department picking it up.
Yeah, I just like to say, as I said in the back, that our last commission meeting, when the attorney that represented the township on the garbage contract, I asked the question, how do we fare as far as other towns are concerned? And he said to us all that Nutley is really stellar. The services that we provide as far as garbage is concerned, and for the price that we deliver to our residents is really really an unbelievable trait in our township, because a lot of other communities are charging for different amounts of garbage. If you put out more than 2 bags, so forth and so on, that there's a charge for it. So I'd like to thank Commissioner Rogers as well, and Commissioner Scarpelli. A job well done. The people of Nutley are really used to getting services, and we want to make sure that that continues in the future, especially, now that costs are rising. Thank you. Mr. Tucci?
Mayor, if I might, and I don't want to be redundant, the biggest challenge we're going to have with this change, all right, is moving from 3 zones to 2 zones. So those of us who have collection dates of Wednesday and Saturday will be moving to another collection date. So we just need to be mindful of that. But Commissioner Rogers, I'm sure, is going to do an excellent outreach program. All the commissioners are going to help. We're going to have posters with maps on them so people can not only read about what the change is, but can also see what the change is and can refer to it. And we just ask that everyone just be patient while we go through this. We have an excellent service. We provide things that other towns don't even think about providing at a cost that's really economical. And again, we just want to ask you for your patience while we move through this change. And ultimately, it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be a smooth transition, and our residents will be served in the manner that they're accustomed to.
Thank you. And I'm going to read the resolution. Before I do, Commissioner Evans isn't here, but he was also instrumental in helping us with the numbers. He was very, very helpful with that. Okay, Mayor, can I read the resolution?
Sure. Please.
Okay, Resolution 257-14, Contract Amendment. Township of Nutley, a municipal corporation of the state of New Jersey, hereinafter referred to as Township, and Future Sanitation Incorporated, hereinafter referred to as Contractor. Whereas the Township advertised and received sealed bid proposals for the collection, removal, and disposal of all solid waste services, and thereafter entered into a contract dated May 2010, whereas the specifications pursuant to which contractor was awarded its contract with the Township provided for the collection, removal, and disposal of solid waste from all specified locations within the municipality, and whereas a copy of the contract is annexed hereto as Exhibit A and is incorporated herein and made a part hereof, whereas the Township advertised on 2 occasions for collection, removal, and disposal of solid waste, and on both occasions only contractor placed the sole bid, whereas the Township extended the contract for 90 days pursuant to paragraph 12 of the contract for July, August, and September 2014, the first addendum, whereas the Township requires an additional 30 days of time to negotiate and enter into a long-term agreement with the contractor, whereas funds available and have been certified by the Chief Financial Officer from said certification attached hereto from account number 401-138-200 for $78,900 monthly for a total of $78,900 for the period October 1st, 2014 through October 31st, 2014. Now, therefore, in consideration of the terms and conditions herein set forth and the promises and agreements as accepted by contractor pursuant to its bid under the advertised specifications and contract, it is agreed between the parties as follows. 1. Pursuant to the local public contracts law, Township exercises its right to continue its service under a negotiated price for the then current term for a period not to exceed 30 days beyond the expiration of the first addendum. And during such period, all of the terms, conditions, and provisions of the contract and bid specifications shall continue in effect. 2. The monthly price paid for the contract service and transport to disposal shall increase from $72,000 to $78,900 per month, and in witness whereof the Township has caused this instrument to be signed by its mayor, attested by its Township clerk, and its municipal seal to be hereunto affixed pursuant to a resolution of the Township Board of Commissioners passed for that purpose, and the contractor has likewise signed and sealed this contract amendment on the day and year first above written. So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, one more. Resolution 28-14. Be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the Township of Nutley, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, approve a shared services agreement with the Nutley Board of Education for the solid waste removal by Future Sanitation and Recycling for a period of 5 years commencing on November 1st, 2014 through October 31st, 2019. So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Commissioner, there's one more. I'm sorry.
Liz?
25614, that's for the contract.
The one, Commissioner. Okay. Resolution 25614. Thank you, Counselor. Whereas the Township advertised for bids on 2 occasions and received sealed bid proposals on 2 occasions from Future Sanitation Incorporated, on May 29, 2014, and then on September 10, 2014, for the collection, removal, and disposal of all solid waste, bulk waste, vegetative waste, and white goods. And whereas the specifications pursuant to which contractor has submitted and filed his bid proposal with the township provided for the collection, removal, and disposal of solid waste from all specified locations within the municipality, and whereas the specifications contain various municipal options and the contractor has submitted its bid proposals for each option, and whereas a copy of the bid specifications and proposal, collectively addendum number 1 to specifications, are annexed hereto as Exhibit A, B, and are incorporated herein and made a part thereof. And whereas the township has rejected both of the contractor's bids by resolution number 145-14, dated June 17, 2014, and by resolution number 225-14, dated September 16, 2014, and in accordance with state law, the parties having the right to negotiate a contract in the best interest of the citizens of Nutley. And whereas the township and contractor, having agreed to the terms of a contract to the contractor for a term of 5 years commencing on November 1st, 2014 through October 31st, 2019, and in consideration of the full and proper performance by contractor of its obligations of collection, removal, and disposal, the township agrees to pay the contractor the total sum of $4,734,000 for collection, removal, and transportation for disposal of all collected items of solid waste, bulk waste, and white goods as per the specifications. Whereas, furthermore, in consideration for the collection, removal, and transportation for disposal of all vegetative waste, brush, leaves, and grass clippings, and for the proper performance by contractor of its obligations, the township agrees to pay contractor a monthly sum of $14,700 for the period of time from each April 15th through December 15th, $117,600 on an annual basis for the full period of this contract up through December 15, 2019. Whereas funds are available and have been certified by the Chief Financial Officer from said certification attached hereto from account number 401-138-200 for $78,900 monthly, for a total of $157,800 for the period November 1st, 2014 through December 31st, 2014. In witness whereof, the township has caused this instrument to be signed by the mayor, attested to it by its township clerk and its municipal seal to be hereunto affixed pursuant to resolution of the township council, in this case the commission, passed for that purpose, and the contractor has likewise signed and sealed this contract amendment on the day and year first written above, so moved.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Thank you, Mayor. That's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Scarpelli?
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas Resolution 244-14 was adopted at the Board of Commissioners meeting held on October 14, 2014, for AJM Contractors, 300 Kohler Road, Clifton, New Jersey, for 2014 Hancock's Avenue, Conover Avenue improvements. Whereas the said resolution contained a typographical error and shall be amended. And whereas bids for 2014 Hancock's Avenue, Conover Avenue was received and opened on October 9, 2014. Whereas the base bid for the 2014 Hancock's Avenue, Conover Avenue improvements in an amount of $238,551, and alternate bid number 1 was in the amount of $203,349 for a total bid of $441,900. And whereas the award of this contract is subject to the availability and appropriation of sufficient funds from Essex County Community Development Block Grant Account number T-19-909-901, base bid in the amount of $194,000. Account number 4-01-806-277 in the amount of $42,551. And ordinance number 3243A in the amount of $2,000. And account number T-19-909-901 for the alternate bid number 1 in the amount of $160,908. Account number 401-806-277 in the amount of $8,445.81. And ordinance number 3243A in the amount of $33,995.19. Subject to this caveat, have been certified by the Chief Financial Officer, said certification being attached to this resolution. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of Commissioners, Township of Nutley County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that a contract be awarded to AJM Contractors for the total bid in the amount not to exceed $441,900, and that the mayor and the township clerk are hereby authorized to enter into and sign said contract for the Township of Nutley, subject to final approval and funding by Essex County Community Development Block Grant. I move the resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Board of Commissioners, Township of Nutley, in the County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that the Township Treasurer be and she is hereby authorized to refund $300 to Angela Azanari, Angela's Landscaping, 96 Stager Street, Nutley, New Jersey, for a refund of payment for the purchase of landscape drop-off tickets. I move the resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Board of Commissioners, Township of Nutley, in the County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that the Township Treasurer be and she is hereby authorized to refund $150 to Saverio Gagliardo, Saverio Maintenance, 27 Spring Street, Nutley, New Jersey, for a refund of payment for the purchase of landscape drop-off tickets. I move the resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Board of Commissioners, Township of Nutley, in the County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that the Township Treasurer be and she is hereby authorized to refund $300 to Anthony Mayola, A. Mayola Landscaping, 308 Walnut Street, Nutley, New Jersey, for a refund of payment for the purchase of landscape drop-off tickets. I move the resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Board of Commissioners, Township of Nutley, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that the Township Clerk is hereby authorized to advertise for sealed bids for 2014-2015 acceptance of recycling vegetative waste to include leaf and grass clippings. To be received on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, Commission Chambers, Township Hall, 1 Kennedy Drive, Nutley, New Jersey, on Wednesday, November 12, 2014, at 3 p.m. prevailing time, which time they will be open and read. I move the resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Tucci, will you please read Commissioner Evans' resolutions?
Yes, I will, Mayor. Thank you. Be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Township of Nutley in the County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that the Treasurer be and she is hereby authorized to refund overpayment of the water charges in the amount of $78.78 for the following account: Block and Lot 3500-12, address 160 Satterway, in the amount of $76.78. I move the resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Township of Nutley, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that the Treasurer be and she is hereby authorized to refund overpayments of the tax charges in the amount of $2,239.81 for the following accounts: Block and Lot 9105-10, address 26 Ernest Street, in the amount of $2,239.81. I move the resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
Be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Township of Nutley, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that the Treasurer be and she is hereby authorized to refund overpayments of the water charges in the amount of $971.52 for the following accounts: Block and Lot 9000-47, address 213-217 Harrison Street, in the amount of $971.52. I move the resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. I have one resolution, a raffle application, whereas a raffle application has been received from the following organizations and Friends of Nutley Singers, Inc., license number 66-14, off-premise 50/50 cash raffle, March 8, 2015, Holy Family Church, license number 67-14, Tricky Trade, December 7, 2014, Nutley Irish American Alliance, license number 68-14, on-premise 50/50 cash raffle, November 15, 2014. Nutley Irish American Alliance, license number 69-14, on-premise merchandise raffle, A Night at the Races, November 15, 2014. Whereas the applications have been reviewed and approved by the municipal clerk and the police department, now therefore be resolved by the Board of Commissioners, Township of Nutley, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that the aforementioned licenses are approved and the municipal clerk is authorized to issue the licenses. I move the resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye. Thank you. That is the end of our business part of our meeting. I'll be opening it up to the public in 1 minute. Before that, I'd just like to say to everyone here tonight and everyone that hopefully is going to be watching, hopefully we'll have a big audience. I really think Nutley is a very, very special place. We have our own little green ball here, and we are really looking to preserve it. With Roach exiting Nutley and taking 4,000 to 5,000 people out of the mix every day, I am almost getting down on my hands and knees to beg the people of Nutley to do something that we can control, and that's keep our business district, our mom and pop stores going, because in the current economic stage that we're in, it's one of the biggest complaints our board gets as far as businesses closing, open stores, vacant stores, and I just would like to say to the Nutley residents tonight that that's something that we can control. That's something that we can help with. You know, if we were more proactive in doing this, I would think that a lot more businesses would want to come. I've read around town that all we have is pizza shops and hair salons. I would love to see a hardware store, even some type of franchise here, maybe a Gap someday. But without us patronizing the stores that we have, quite frankly, people are not looking to open up businesses in town. So again, it's something that we can control as all our residents. So please, if you have the opportunity, please patronize these Nutley businesses, because I would sure hate to see Franklin Ave not look, and Chestnut Street and Washington and all the surrounding streets and where there's businesses. I would sure hate to see that look differently 5 to 10 years from now. We're working very diligently. I feel that we're making progress on Roach. Hopefully there'll be news shortly out of there, and hopefully there'll be something very positive. But meanwhile, like I said from the beginning, when you take 4,000 to 5,000 people out of the formula for these local shops, it makes it very difficult. If any of the commissioners like to echo that, please feel free. Okay, Madam Clerk, please read our 5-minute rule.
All persons addressing the Board of Commissioners regarding community concerns should approach the microphone and provide their name, address for the record. Unless further time is granted by the board, each person shall limit their address to 5 minutes. All remarks to the board and its individual members must be addressed to the mayor. The mayor may defer citizens' comments to the appropriate member of the board. Dialogue between citizens and others addressing the board shall be allowed unless the mayor or presiding officer or the majority of the membership of the board shall determine that the interest of decorum and or the expeditious conduct of municipal business are being adversely affected by such dialogue.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there anyone this evening that would like to address the Board of Commissioners? Please state your name and address for the record.
Terry Quirk, 45 Hampton Place, in Nutley. Mr. Mayor, I have a very brief story to tell, and just because I have some questions. Back in September, I believe it was September 4th or 7th, it was like the very early onset of the school district opening up. They had a public forum. It was over at the high school, and all the people who were experts on the facilities had come in, and they were talking about plans that they had for the facilities, and they had opened it up to the public. And during that time, Mr. Lazovic got up and he spoke about, you know, everything, all the programmings that are going on in district and how the facilities are being used. And during that time, there was some discussion. There was actually questions, and the question came about: were there any joint meetings between the BOC and the BOE? And he alluded to the fact that that they had met, that their groups had met in some forum. And at that point, I really just wanted to know a little bit more information, because, as you know, I hang out at the Board of Ed meetings. That's where I'm like a fixture over there. And So I just kind of was curious as to what was going on. So I went to Madeline Kakuza, and I put in my Oprah request, and she got back to me, and she said, there are, any type of paperwork, if the Board of Commissioners and the Board of Ed meet, it's really handled through the town clerk. So I brought my Oprah here, and I received an actual letter from the town clerk saying that there were no joint meetings. Now, I went to this meeting, I heard it from the superintendent, and I was a little confused. So I did a little bit more digging, and I found out, yes, there were meetings. Maybe they weren't meetings in the joint sense of it, or the official sense, but there were meetings. So I dug a little deeper, and I contacted Mr. Genetempo, who was kind enough to come back and tell me that, yes, there were meetings, but they were not actual joint meetings. So my question here is, if there were meetings, because somehow I'm standing and I keep saying the word joint, and that seems to be an area of concern, but if there were meetings between two members or more than two members of two bodies of government, shouldn't there be some sort of agenda or minutes, or even saying to the public, gee, you know what, we met and we discussed blah, blah, blah. Because I know that comes up all the time at the Board of Ed. They'll say, okay, we met with this one and we discussed this. So my question is, because my Oprah stated, were there any meetings between members of the BOC and BOE within the 2012-2013 school year and the 2013 and 2014, last 2 years, basically? I understand that there was an actual joint meeting, big one, between everybody in 2011. So I'm digging a little bit more, Mr. Mayor, and I hate to step on people's toes, but, I just think it's an area of concern if somebody such as the superintendent says in a public forum, yes, we had a meeting, and then we're not hearing like what was discussed and what was the purpose. So I'm just kind of leaving that with the Board of Ed because, like I said, I'm not the Board of Ed, Board of Commissioners, because like I said, it's already been decided, yes, there were meetings, but my question is as to what was going on.
Well, first of all, yes, there was meetings. That was number one. Counsel, would you like to jump in here?
Yeah, no, I wanted to clarify for Ms. Quirk, because we did have some speaker, I think we just
No, it was through email.
emailed, right?
Thank you.
That the meetings that were two meetings that I recall where the Board of Ed, some of the members came here in executive session. There's nothing being kept from the public on those. I think some of those meeting minutes have actually been released after redactions. There are certain parts of executive meetings that cannot be revealed until the reason for the confidentiality has been lifted. And in this situation, the reason that we gave for the meetings was potential property acquisition.
Okay.
There was a request by the superintendent, and they didn't have a quorum. They could not bring a quorum here. That would have required what you're asking for, proper notice and an actual joint meeting. So the superintendent came with a couple board members, express their thoughts regarding some issues of property, and I really don't want to say more than that because it could jeopardize what we may be working together. So there were only two that I recall. I don't think there were any others. There was a potential for a joint meeting. Try to schedule on a weekend to discuss those issues in public. It just never got put together, and the best way to do it was really in an executive meeting. So, and I believe Commissioner Tucci and Mayor Petracco actually appeared at a Board of Ed meeting also.
Right. I do remember that, yes.
Expressed some issues there. So those are the only meetings, and I've been involved since early 2013 that I recall, and that's the ones I expressed to you. But I believe some of those meeting minutes have been redacted and produced. I believe Lazovich basically revealed some of the information at that meeting, at his public meeting that you're referring to. So I don't want to say more because we're still working on a couple things that may be beneficial to everyone, and I think revealing might be a problem. So that's the only thing I would like to say.
Okay. And I just have one more question. I went to the zoning board meeting last month, and I got up in front of the zoning board, and this was in regards to the Passaic and Kingsland project, and I asked them about the impact fees from the Board of Ed, and they said that would be assigned by the Board of Commissioners. Is that true? Okay. I just wanted to know, so you would
Well,
assign...
I've already said on the mic, and there's recorded minutes of this, is that I would, as long as, again, as long as it's legal to do, I would insist that if there's any impacts on any of the municipality services or with the Board of Ed, that these contractors, we now have to hold their feet to the fire, and it shouldn't be, the burden shouldn't be placed on the taxpayer, it should be placed on the developer, the people that are, turning a profit, developing our town. So that I will see through that to make sure that whatever legal rights a municipality has, that we'll be fighting for impact fees.
Okay. All right, thank you. And I understand that these meetings are now being taped?
They are.
That is awesome, because I know, I stood right here like 8 years ago and asked. So thank you
Yes.
very much.
We actually have a close-up of you this evening, too.
Really, and I'm not dressed up. Thank you. Thank you.
Is there anyone else this evening that would like to address the Board of Commissioners? Please state your name and address for the record.
Mike Logier, 133 High Street. It's just a comment. To the way you, Mr. Mayor, the way you ended your address to the board and to the rest of us here, as a Nutley Town resident, I would love to eat at the Nutley Diner again. I would love to eat at the Franklin Steakhouse again. I would love to go to the Nutley Bike Shop and buy a Schwinn Rocket 3 $650 bicycle. But the thing is, on November 1st, coming up, from November 1st to the 10th, I'm going to have to pay a $3,000 property tax quarterly bill. That's what I used to pay when I first moved to this town, and for a couple of years after that. That's the reason why, unfortunately, I try my best, but I just cannot support the stores and businesses in this town as much as I would like to, because literally all the expendable cash that I make in my job, private sector, commissioned salesperson, I just can't do it because I'm fighting to save my home by paying my bills, especially my property tax bills and my water taxes that have gone up something like another 100% over the course of the past 4 years, and no one else lives in my home except for the same people that have been living there for the past couple of 16 years. But I just wanted to mention that to the board.
Michael, if I may comment with you at the mic too. First of all, I'd like to apologize to you tonight on the record as well, because one of the past meetings, you came up to the mic and I said, please don't be redundant, and I thought you took offense to that. It got back to me that you did. So I want to apologize. You're more than welcome to speak at that mic anytime. We just try to limit, the time that is being spent, and we do try to get it out of here in a timely fashion. So my apologies. As far as patronizing Nutley businesses, whatever you could do, if you're doing a little, we all appreciate it, and thank you for that.
I do accept your apology, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Is there anyone else this evening that would like to address the Board of Commissioners?
Penny Landry, 135 Lakeside Drive, Nutley, New Jersey. Before the timer starts, the first thing I'd like to say is, Madam Clerk, thank you. I think you're doing an excellent job, and thank you for all your help. The second thing I'd like to do is to have a little clarification. I mean, I know that this side of the room has rules. Could our side of the room have a couple of rules on the 5 minutes too? Would that be okay, Mayor?
We have granted a little, especially you, Ms. Landry, a little longer than the 5-minute rule, so we'll be...
Well, no, it was just, here's the request. Since we are under the 5-minute rule, that if I ask a yes or no question, a yes or no answer would be appreciated. And you can always say, I won't answer, okay? Because sometimes it goes off in kind of a spin thing, and since we're limited time. Okay, is that fair enough?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the other clarification on the 5-minute rule is that 5 minutes per topic, So like if I wanted to talk about Roche, and then I also wanted to talk about economic development, do I get 5 minutes per topic, or is that a whole?
Why don't we, if you're not going to be too longer than 5 minutes tonight, why don't you give the Board of Commissioners a chance to discuss that privately, and then we'll see how we want to continue, and I'll get back to you with that answer.
Okay, so all I want to say about that is just make sure you refer to the New Jersey laws, Open Public Meeting Act laws.
Absolutely, that's why our attorney's here.
Okay, thanks. Okay, good. So my first topic, since I'm limited to one, first and only, will be Roche. Who is the attorney or the name of the firm representing Nutley in the administrative claim filed by Roche against Nutley regarding our sewer? So again, name of the firm or the name of the attorney.
Counsel?
John Hipp has been assigned to represent Nutley with court claims notice filed by Hoffman LaRoche.
Okay, it's now a tort claim because at the Roche meeting they said it was an administrative claim.
Penny, you and I heard them say administrative. I don't know what that is.
Okay, thank you, sir. And Mr. Hicks' firm is?
HIP, H-I-P.
And that's the name of his firm, John Hipp. Okay, thank you. Second, has Nutley conducted any soil testing on its own on land outside of the Roche property, yes or no?
Counsel?
Outside the Roche property?
Yes. No soil testing done on any land outside of Roche property?
Not as of yet. We have our own experts, but that may.
Okay, great. In June, Commissioner Scarpelli told the Nutley Sun that the township would conduct its own assessment regarding the integrity of the sewer line. Has a company been hired to assess the sewer?
Yes.
Yes. What is the name of that company?
Hatchmont McDonald.
Hatch.
Hatchmont McDonald.
Hatch.
H-A-T-C-H.
Hatch. Okay,
Hatch.
thank you. And has the assessment of the sewer line been started?
Yes, they're doing a review of the sewer system through Roach property, are working on a report.
Great, thank you. Also in June, Commissioner Rogers told the Sun that his health department would investigate any cancer risk concerns in the township. Has there been a formal investigation started or completed by the health department regarding cancer concerns in Nutley?
No.
No, thank you. 6. Has the Board of Commissioners given a response to Roche regarding the contamination feasibility plans provided at the public meeting in Lyndhurst?
Can you repeat the question?
Has the Township of Nutley Board of Commissioners given any type of response to Roche regarding the feasibility plans that were permitted at the public meeting in Lyndhurst? And before you answer, I'd like to say thank you to Commissioner Scarpelli, to Mr. Evans and Mr. Genetempo for attending the meeting, and to Mr. Scarpelli, Commissioner Scarpelli. And
Counsel?
Evans.
The answer is yes and no. We are in constant contact with Hoffman LaRoche on all those issues. Not filed a formal reply to their.
Okay.
Are in contact with them on those.
Okay,
Mr.
so
Genetempo, plus our experts were there that night also.
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
Hatchmont was there, and so was Mr. Hipp was there, and also our township engineer was there.
Madam Clerk, was
So
that the
to
timer?
that,
Was that the timer? Okay, thank you.
can I have one more minute?
Yes, you may.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank
Okay.
you.
When will the Roche Joint Committee be providing any updates? Because it was said that the Joint Committee is still meeting, and yet we haven't seen any type of report that I've been able to locate from the Joint Committee, and yet they're still meeting. When will the township people be receiving any type of update from?
Counsel, I don't mind answering that question. Ms. Landry, Commissioner Tucci and I have met a bunch of times. Actually, it's taken up a lot of our time with that joint
And I
committee.
appreciate that.
And I
Thank you.
appreciate you saying that. Instead of vacationing this summer, we both spent our summer at Roche. This is a work in progress, and there's been a lot of twists and turns in the road. There's been a lot of speculation. We are trying to attract the best use for that property. And in order to do that, we're trying to send out the right bait. So in a fisherman's term, if you're fishing for bluefish, you use one bait. We're trying to catch a mako shark here. We're trying to get the best repurposed partner, user, I should say, in there. It's very important to Commissioner and I won't speak for him, but it's very important to myself and I believe Commissioner Tucci that not only do we get a tax rateable back in Roach, but we create jobs in Roach. I know I'm not looking for $10 an hour warehouse jobs or $10 an hour, merchant services jobs, retail jobs. We're looking for jobs that are going to attract quality people, hopefully be up around the six-figure mark. And what I believe is then that in turn will drive our housing market back up to where it needs to be. So there's been a lot of talks in the beginning that have fell through. So it's really, really a work in progress. There's also, we don't want to go to the public and speculate. When we come to the public, what we have to say and what we've learned as a body here, we want it to be a fact. We want to know that that Roach is under contract with someone, and we want to make sure that we're giving the public the right information one time. So I ask you, please be patient and know that this body is really breaking their backs and putting in a lot more time than we all signed up for. When we all took office this past time, if someone would ever said to us that Roach would be exiting, we would think it was a joke. In fact, when Roach called me, I did think it was a joke. So we've been working very diligently the last couple of years, and again, we want to get it right. And we want to get the right use in there so it benefits everyone in town.
And your time is 1,000,000% appreciated. However, the patience of the taxpayers is wearing a little thin because the taxes keep increasing and the information that is forthcoming is somewhat limited. So maybe just a message from the mayor or an update letter.
Well, as you're aware, though, the taxes are not increasing because of Roach, because as you're aware, that Nutley receives state aid.
For 1 year.
1 year.
So we don't even know if that state aid is coming next year, correct?
Well, you know what, we have had a promise from Governor Christie, and we hope that continues, but
Okay.
the process is that you have to,
Go back and ask.
well, you have to go through the process again.
Okay.
So, Commissioner Tucci, would you like
Yeah,
to comment
I'd just
on
like
it?
to add something, Mayor. Ms. Landry, unfortunately, much of what we're discussing at Roche is highly confidential because of the type of folks that they're speaking to and type of folks that they're looking to bring into town. Their negotiations and their discussions with them are very sensitive. So we understand the frustrations of those of you out there waiting to hear something positive about Roche. What we can tell you is that to date, there are many issues that we're dealing with, and there are many positives. And hopefully, as soon as humanly possible, when we can divulge more information, we will, without jeopardizing any of the potential tenants that could be coming in. And as the mayor said, we're not just looking to fill that property up with buildings and $8 or $10 an hour jobs. We're looking to put something there that'll be world-class and something that'll follow in the footsteps of Roche for many years to come.
So we hired Macer Consulting to look at the Roche redevelopment project. Is that correct?
Mazer Consulting was hired by the planning board to do the report on declaring the area in need of redevelopment.
Okay, so Macer was hired by the planning board to do a report
Correct.
on,
To make a recommendation back to this Board of Commissioners.
regarding
That an area in need of redevelopment, yes,
Roche being an area in need of redevelopment?
correct.
Okay, so do we think it's an area in need of redevelopment?
These are legal terms, and there are tools that will be afforded to us that'll help us in, excuse me, in the repurposing of that. So yes, this body does in fact feel that that was a necessary step.
Okay, great, thank you. Finally, Mayor, Commissioner Tucci, I know I drove you guys crazy since December about this, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Y'all, have a great evening.
Thank you. Is there anyone else this evening that would like to address the Board of Commissioners? Commissioner Rogers?
Mr. Odera, that's how you pronounce your last name? Odria. You're welcome to come to my office anytime. Maybe we'll be able to lend you some assistance with some of the difficulties that you're running into. We have a host of programs where we've been able to help citizens who run into very difficult times. Everything's kept confidential. You come in and we'll see what we can do to help you out, okay?
Yeah, you have to come to the mic if you're going to speak. And please state your name and address one more time.
Michael Odrea, 133 High Street. I do appreciate that, Commissioner Rogers, but you know what? I just can't do that because
Okay,
I
well-
work. I'm not.
Well,
I didn't. My parents didn't bring me to this
Well,
country.
here's
I mean,
the-
I'm sorry. I was born in this country.
Yeah.
My parents didn't come from another country for me to be born here to
Okay.
seek assistance from the federal, the state, or the local government. You know, I have a work ethic.
Okay.
But the only thing I can say, because, like I said, one of my heroes growing up was Ronald Reagan, and other heroes too, musicians too. But you know, watching him and watching his first 4 years as president, because that's the ones that really matter to me. You know, he imposed limited government.
Well, this is not a handout. This is a helping hand. He
Yeah, I
happens
don't- to me,
he
it's
happens
all-
to be my hero too. But
Michael, what I would recommend that you do after the meeting, if you'd like
yeah,
to
why
talk
don't
to
you come to
Commissioner
see me?
Rogers.
Because we'll help you. Okay, we'll help you out. You may
This
not
is-
want it, but it's available. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else this evening that would like to address the Board of Commissioners? Seeing no one, need a motion?
Before I move, Mr. Mayor, I just want to invite commissioners and or the public to join in the Scarpelli Civic Association Autism Walk this Sunday. You're all invited. We've led that walk in the past, and my offer is out there for you guys to join me in leading that again.
What time and where?
10 o'clock.
Oval?
I'll give you the time to be there, though.
At the Nutley Oval?
The Oval.
Okay, we need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second. Second.
Commissioner Rogers?
Aye.
Commissioner Tucci?
Aye.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Aye.
Mayor Petracco?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. And the time is now 8:29.